On last week's episode of the NOIRPOISED podcast,
I think men are human beings. What abilities can you do? If something were to pop off right now and 30 men came in with guns and stuff like that, and you make it out alive and your wife doesn't, they gonna look at you.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to figure out how to take out 30 dudes.
Yeah.
Now, do you think therapy is for everyone? Welcome to the NOIRPOISED podcast, where wisdom is power is more than just a motto.
It's our way of life.
Now, do you think therapy is for everyone? Do you believe that everyone should at some point in time go?
I personally think that everyone should go to therapy.
Yeah.
Especially Black people specifically, and it's not that we're bad or nothing. It's just we have a very particular experience in the world, and we have a very particular experience in America. I always describe therapy as like you have ketchup on your forehead, but you can't see it unless you're not going to know that ketchup is there unless you get an outside perspective.
Yeah.
So like the people around you, you're like, oh, everybody got ketchup on their forehead.
Yeah.
And everyone like, but until you get that external person who's like, actually, you shouldn't have that ketchup, bro. Or why do you have that ketchup?
Right,
Yeah.
Examine that. I think that it's helpful. So I've, as a person that's been in therapy for like years now, I've watched how therapy has changed over the past decade and like how different it is. Like people don't go into the office, it's remote, and going into the office is like a different experience. It's like it's something different. It's like having a team meeting via Zoom versus, there's a lot more things that could happen. Mental health has kind of been like a buzzword now.
Yeah, that's what it I'm gonna be honest with you. Forgive me if I'm wrong, if I sound ignorant, but it feels like it's a trend now.
Yeah.
Right? It feels like everyone just wants to do it for the sake of doing it. So when Sam said that, I was like, yeah, does everyone need therapy? To some extent, I do think everyone should, but how long?
That's a good,
you know what I'm saying? Because you say you had it for a very long time. Does everyone need therapy consistently? Some people need to just heal through the trauma or, understand why they do certain things. And then, I learned I'm gonna keep applying what I've learned.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need to continuously go to therapy for years, whereas some people may need it for years.
Well, I mean, for my own case,
you gave us your list, brother. So listen, I get it. I get it. I understand.
Listen, what don't you have? No, for me, my goal is to unlearn generational trauma. And if you really think about it, you are examining 20 some odd years of thinking in an hour every week. So it's going to take a while.
That's a good point.
And then in between that, life happens.
Life is life.
So now you don't even get to talk about your childhood or anything like that. Now you got to talk about this recent breakup you just had, or this job you just lost or something. So there's no set time as to how many years you should go to therapy, or if you need to go to therapy. I think that if your goal is to grow, then that's something then you should do whatever it takes to get to that. Yeah. And I think that's, to your point earlier, is that mental health has become so much of a trend that the original goal of growth doesn't really exist anymore. People misuse diagnosis all the time. Like if you wasn't with a narcissist, if you was with a narcissist.
That word is very popular right now.
If
everyone's a narcissist, okay?
You know it.
You'll know.
You would know. Did you see The Penguin?
No.
Oh, first of all,
we live in a bubble, man.
Fantastic piece of TV. But if you watch The Penguin, that's a textbook narcissist.
Yeah.
You wasn't with that. If you was with that, then trust me. But people, and people abuse it now. Something that I take very serious. I take mental health very serious. People are out here giving terrible advice and giving terrible takes, and people are now, it triggers me, so I can't do it. That's not even what a trigger. That's
another one. That's another.
Triggers is like, okay, it started.
Now you know what to do with it. Yeah.
If your partner is saying, yo, you do this, it triggers me. Okay, now that I can help by maybe doing it less or considering certain actions, but at the end of the day, that's on you, big dog, to handle that.
Yeah.
And I hate the fact that how trendy it's become. I hate how commercial it's become because now everyone is on the bandwagon, and now there's people who are therapists. You probably shouldn't be a therapist. Like you probably shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah,
you're just doing this because it's trendy, because it's very lucrative.
Yeah.
But the overall purpose of growth is like, are you in this to grow? Because like even when I'm not, because the thing about therapy is he's a coach or she's a coach. They're there to guide you to certain perspectives, but it's all the work. It's all the work that you're doing in between.
Yeah.
My last therapist is dope. He gave me a bunch of books, even though I don't like reading. So, I got 2 degrees. I'm comfortable saying that.
Right, but you don't like reading. That is interesting.
That's me. Welcome. But I do listen to a lot of self-help books and a lot of things that help broaden my perspective. Going to therapy and like being dedicated to growth, sometimes it's like it can make you feel real lonely because now sometimes people will be on some type of time that I'm not on that type of time at all.
I think growth in general will do that to you.
It's exhausting. So that's why you gotta, what we were talking about earlier, be conscious of the people that you're around. My friends, they don't get in the way of my growth, and I'm fine with that. Maybe they're not on the same time as I am, and you'll see me a lot less. People say that about me all the time, like, oh, we don't talk as much, but because I don't want to talk. But it's like it's love when I see you, and that's how I am. It's love.
But I can't be around you all the time.
But I don't gotta be around you all the time because we're not on the same type of time. You know what I'm saying? So it makes it, but it's worth it. It's genuinely worth it because I'm a lot healthier.
Tell me both of your thoughts on this, but just talking, this conversation is making me think that in a single sentence, I would define the purpose of therapy is to reveal insights about yourself that you can then, work however way you want. Like the insight that your therapist gave you about the cereal, to me, that's amazing. Like I love being able to get those little data points because now if you notice yourself, about to do it, you're like, let me rethink, my steps. Let me reevaluate myself. So what are your thoughts on that? Because before this conversation, I wasn't sure what the purpose of therapy was. Not that I didn't personally want therapy at one point. The points where I felt like I needed therapy would be when I feel like I'm not sure if I'm in the wrong in a situation or if I'm feeling a certain way. I'm someone who holds everything in. So sometimes I'll be really angry and I'm like, maybe I should reach out to someone to see, am I bugging for being angry? Or sometimes you just want to vent in some cases. And I think that's a lot of people where they just want to get something out their chest. I never really looked at therapy as, you're going to an expert. I put that in quotes because now everyone who has that title is an expert, but you're going to an expert and they're helping you see things about yourself that you weren't able to see before. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, there's different types of therapy, right? So there's cognitive behavioral therapy. That's what you're expounding upon, where it just you re-examine your thoughts.
Yeah.
That was the thing that I wanted to go into because again, with the cereal thing was for my therapist to get me to be present because I just function. I just move. I'm just like, all right, cool, figure it out, blah, 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 blah. I can navigate in trauma and not even be. Chaos is my comfort zone. Yeah. So I'm cool. I can navigate. So now it gives me a moment to be like to think about what I'm doing. It's like, it's the knockoff Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
Not just Lucky Charms, the knockoff.
It's the knockoff because it's $1.95. It's $1.
With the polar bear you said on there.
No, this one has a wizard.
Oh my God.
Polar bear is the frosted flakes.
Hilarious.
But so it gives me a moment to be like, oh, okay, why am I doing this? And I'm examining, which can be detrimental on the other part because instead of doing stuff, I'm just thinking. Yeah. There's other types of therapy where it's like action prone. It's like they give you things to do after every other week. But the fundamental purpose of it, I think one of the therapists explained to me, she was like, you're driving the car and I'm just here navigating suggestions from time to time. That's just what it is. Hopefully they ask you questions that you've never even thought about. The therapist I had now, I have a couple of best friends, but like the closest one, my right-hand man is usually Jared. And we were just talking about something. He was like, yo, I mean, can you imagine what your life would be like without Jared? That's never even crossed my mind. I got offended. That's you, hey. Hey. We'll talk about my man like that.
I can't.
But it's never even crossed my mind.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And the cereal, again, I never even thought about that. So even if I read the self-help books and I'll, examine and listen, blah, 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 but you're still coming from your perspective. Right. You're still navigating from perspective.
You might have just helped me.
Convincing.
Honestly, I've never gone to therapy.
Do you think you need it?
Of course. I mean, so I think I need it in the sense of like, I do believe that everyone at some point in time should, because like you said, you only know what you know, right? You need someone to kind of give you a different perspective, some more insight on how you view things. And if that's really how you view it, you really don't know until you're questioned about it. But I do a lot of like self-help things. I try to analyze myself a little too much. I overthink, and I try to grow. Like I try to change things. I have conversations with you. That's how this podcast started a little bit too, where we try to have certain conversations and question the narrative and question ourselves, question our childhood. So I do believe that everyone should at some point in time go, because there may be things that you're not aware of that you need someone else to kind of tell you. But then there's also a part of me that's like, nah, I'm good, because I do the work.
And you know what?
I do the homework that they would have given me anyway.
You don't know that. But I think it's because listening to you talk now, it made me think of like Black women particularly. Because I feel like you describe an experience that a lot of sisters have, right? So like you hear the constant rhetoric is that the least protected group of women are, the group is Black women and stuff. So a lot of the times it makes it makes you more resistant to listening to outside perspective. So a lot of times you'll do the self-help, you'll read the books, you'll listen to your girlfriends, you'll talk to your friends, but it's like you're not understanding that you're still talking to the fleas in that colony sometimes, that they're still keeping you at this perspective.
Right.
So because of the results of patriarchy and sexism, stuff like that, a lot of times sisters be needing the most therapy and the most outside perspectives, but because they have always been forced to just, well, I got it, I'll figure it out. If I don't do it, no one else is going to do it. And no one's actually going to protect me and listen to me in the first place. Sometimes they don't even seek the outs. They don't even think that they need it. And I'm like, you navigating in trauma this entire time, bro.
Basically.
Is that why you've had therapists with different backgrounds and different genders? Because you're looking for that outside perspective? Because I always thought that if I'm going to get a therapist, it needs to be a Black man around my age or a little older who could understand my perspective. What are your thoughts on
my
that?
first thought was, these are the people I could afford. So that's what I was getting.
Yeah.
But I think I had the same mentality where it was like, I need someone who's going to understand me. But at first, I was always women, right? I've always had Black female therapists. And then I had a white female therapist. And that was the one who shifted my perspective a little bit, because white people get to navigate in a different space than we do. They don't really have the flea thing where there's a ceiling that's hitting them on top of the head. What white women do, because they're still a woman, but you're still white. So maybe you won't jump 3 feet, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? So when I got that outside perspective, that also challenged me to get a different perspective in regards to just women, because all I had was women and talking to them. And I noticed that was contributing to a pattern with myself. I've always been comfortable being more emotional with women.
Oh, okay.
And
that makes sense.
having conversations and blah, 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 and, talking and all that. With men,
I think because it's probably not as accepted from men too, no?
Yeah. I mean, I've just always been, men have always been weird with me. Like, they just always have. It's just always been, I'm comfortable in myself, comfortable in my masculinity and my stuff. So sometimes, for some men, it's a threat for them. Some men like I don't want to talk about sports, bro.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about girls and stuff like that. Like, if you're talking to a girl, that's your business. I don't need to know about it. Am I talking to girls? Yes. Mind your business. I don't, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, so, they don't go into as much detail or have in-depth conversations.
There's always this secret competition that they have.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. So
I've heard someone say that.
So it's like, I'm cool, but then also I'm unsafe. I feel unsafe around women, and that's something I had to learn at the same time. It was like this acceptance thing that I was looking for, and that's what it was. And I understand that a lot more now. That if I just constantly get this woman, I'm seeking your acceptance, and that's what it is. I don't seek acceptance from men at all. I seek acceptance from women, and that's what it was. But then I realized I'm constantly trying to get your acceptance, but I'm not even thinking about how I feel safety wise and stuff. So that's something even deeper. It's a constant thing that I'm always examining. But eventually I got a Black male therapist, and it was different. Like, our conversations was different, and I noticed that my idea of masculinity now is like being re-examined. Or like my pops taught me personhood. He taught me how to be a good human, but he never really taught me how to be with, navigating masculinity and stuff. So when we would have conversations, the way he would talk to me was very different than the way that the female therapist would talk to me. They both would hold me accountable, but it was two completely different ways.
Can you give an example?
He was just very direct. They would provide my actions with an explanation to kind of like justify what I'm doing. versus what my current therapist would do. He's like, this is what we've been trying to work across. They allowed my explanations to become an excuse. Give me an explanation, it doesn't allow it to be an excuse. So does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
So there's a clear definition. There's a clear distinction between an explanation and an excuse. When you allow your explanation to dictate your actions, now it becomes an excuse. So they would provide these explanations and then also give me this excuse.
Do you think that for that reason, men should stick with male therapists for that reason? Because they need that directness? Because you said you even had to redefine masculinity in a way. And I would love to know, what do you mean by that?
I think you should stick to whoever you're comfortable with. Like, I'll just say that. That was just my experience. Like, there are some women who can hold you accountable. And that was just from what I had. But the redefining masculinity thing, it's like, so I would live with a significant other for like a year. But when we was living together, we was broken up. So I was pretty much stuck in a house with my ex for like a year.
You were divorced without even being married.
Oh God, it was the longest year.
That's a reality TV show.
Son, I have never spent that much time in my car. Like, man, I remember one time I went to a Caribbean spot. There's not a lot of good Caribbean spots in LA, but I found the one spot that I like. I knew it was gonna be good because she was rude. So I'm sitting there,
You know the secret,
eating my curry goat. And I got the TV, I got my phone mounted on the dashboard watching Girlfriends because I love Girlfriends. And I'm eating, chilling, and a janitor comes up to me. He's like, "You look comfortable, brother." I said, "Man." And all he said to me was, "Man, they don't know what it's like." And he just knew that I was hiding from the significant other. He just knew it. But in that, as crazy as it was, there's just like a look that guys had.
You know what's crazy? I heard a story
interesting.
about a woman who hired a private investigator because she thought her man was cheating. And the guy came back with video footage of him doing exactly that.
Oh, just having a day. Yeah, I saw that video.
He just eating and then he's just watching on his
living
phone.
his life, bro. That's it. But but in that space, I understood, like, there were certain things that, even though we weren't together, there were certain things that were still expected of me that I didn't even think about. That I've never had to think about.
Yeah,
because I didn't grow up with my pops in the house. I was the oldest male in my house, but the things that I would do was just the things that my mom told me what to do.
Epiphany moment. It makes sense. I thought you grew up with your dad in the house.
Nah, I didn't grow up with my father in the house. I grew up with my mom. I saw my father on the weekends. So I'm in a house. I'm doing a lot of male stuff. And again, I would do a lot of the male responsibilities, but none of the perks or nothing like that because I'm still a child.
Yeah.
So I'm taking out the trash. I'm doing those stuff and I'm doing these things, but I'm living in a house in New York. A house in LA is different. So there's certain things that it didn't even cross my mind. Like mowing the lawn. I'm from New York. We ain't got no lawn. Like, or taking out the trash or stuff like that. So I had to understand that, like, oh, there's certain things that, like, I gotta do. Fix stuff around the house and stuff. And that makes her feel comfortable in a different way. And it makes me feel good in a certain way. So I've always thought about, oh, I'm gonna be a good person. I treat you well. I do stuff because I treat everyone with respect. You know, I fundamentally treat everyone with respect. But the little nuanced things, me navigating in my own, making a decision and sticking to it, or, being able to trust my leadership or stuff like that. These are things that I like, oh, so this is what they mean. Oh, so I'm even though I've always been comfortable in just my skin and my sexuality and masculinity and whatever, I'm understanding, oh, this is what I have to do. Oh, this is what you're looking for. Oh, this is how I navigate. This is okay. All right, so that, even though that experience was, Lord have mercy, I could do a whole podcast on that experience. I hope she watch it.
I'm done. Follow the podcast, NOIRPOISED podcast. Thank you.
I hope she watch it.
She gonna leave a thumbs down.
I hope she do. Lord have mercy. Oh my God, that was exhausting, bro. That was mentally, and that was another, in regards to like mental health, and like, I think I was navigating in, I mean, y'all married, but was it Happy Wife, Happy Life?
Yeah.
Nah, bro. I'll never subscribe to that again, bro. I'd rather die.
I think we had a whole episode.
We did have an episode
on
about that. We talked about
Happy Wife, Happy Life.
Yeah.
What was the conclusion?
Well, the conclusion is, I mean, both people need to be happy.
Happy spouse, happy house.
Yes, happy spouse.
I think, at least from my takeaway, and it comes from redefining masculinity myself, where I think society has made us think that it has to be 50-50 along the way. So I never forget the quote that we ended with, that we said was, "A happy wife gives you life."
Yeah.
So the takeaway from me was there's certain things that you have to just accept that it's part of manhood or being a husband or being a spouse that you have to do. There's certain things that men could do that women can't do, and there's certain things that women can do that men can't do. And when you fulfill your role as a man, you then make your wife happy. And once your wife is happy, she gives you a better life. That's
that's cute. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Happy spouse, happy house. Okay, that's beautiful. Of course, I'm gonna contribute to your happiness. I'm gonna do all that. I'm gonna handle it. But it's like, because that also doesn't. Again,
I think it shouldn't be the responsibility of the other person.
But
you make yourself happy, right?
Facts. But it's also like, I need to be present because, like, again, I'm so concerned. I've always been so concerned about making people around me comfortable or making women around me comfortable that I'm not even thinking about whether you make me comfortable.
Okay.
Or whether I make. So I don't even think about it. Yeah. So it's like, nah, I need to think about that, bro. So I get you. Beautiful. You're a beautiful family. I love it, brother. But no. But no, absolutely not. Happy spouse, happy house. We need to have a conversation. I think what I say, because some dudes would be like, yo, be my peace. No. Someone should be able to contribute to your peace.
Right.
Just like you should be able to contribute to the person.
Yes, same concept.
You work on your happiness, but I should be able to contribute to that. Just like you should be wanting to contribute to my happiness.
Yeah.
But there's something that, with masculinity, I think you said something to me a while ago.
I don't even remember what it is.
Yeah, you don't, because it stuck with me though. Yeah. Because I asked you what it's like to be a dad. And you said it's like being a good guy and a bad guy.
Oh, and I remember it's like being a hero and a villain
at the exact same time. Yeah. And I was like, that's leadership. Because that's fundamentally what leadership is. It's like you are going to have to make decisions that people aren't going to be able to see.
Yeah.
And you're going to be the bad guy sometimes, and you're going to be the good guy, but you have to. And that was something that's something with masculinity that I'm learning a little bit more, because I didn't want people to feel bad. I didn't want other people to feel bad. I didn't want a bad narrative with me or anything like that. But sometimes when you get so caught up in trying to control the narrative, that you actually do more damage.
Yeah.
So with the masculinity thing, it's like I'm naturally a leader. That's what I am. But my inability to be comfortable with being seen as the villain, and I'm not saying I'm ruining people's lives, nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But that navigating in shame and guilt, that when you have to make these hard decisions, you worried. Yeah. And that's something that stuck with me when you said that. Because that's cool. I tell other people that.
That's cool.
Do you think that's what leads black men to being a little bit more aggressive? Like having to hold in all of those feelings, or making other people comfortable walking on tiptoes around, whether it's their family and spouse or just people outside the home? Do you think that's what leads to people viewing black men as being aggressive?
I think it's a double-edged sword. Yeah. So like, from when people ask me what's the film that got me into film, I always say it's Birth of a Nation. The original Birth of a Nation.
I was just about to say, I feel like that just came out.
The Ku Klux Klan one that came out in like 1913.
Gotcha.
The reason why I say that is because that was the first time where I realized the images that you see on TV and how powerful it is for your perception of people. So if you watch that movie, it is a bunch of white men in blackface, but they are making black men look as the aggressors. So you've been conditioned to think that black men are the aggressors, even though white people have.
Right, obviously.
But you have, so it's a societal thing that has been conditioned and passed down from generation to generation to generation. At the same time, I feel like when people don't know who they are, they take on the role that's given to them. So they think, I'm
touching on a whole bunch of episodes that we just recorded.
Just keep.
So sometimes men or black men will take on that aggressive role because they think it's supposed to be like that. Or that's their defense mechanism. And on top of that, there's a fundamental misunderstanding of what leadership actually looks like. So because leadership is like, I always say that leadership is asking the right questions. It's not particularly telling people what to do, but it's knowing what question to ask to give people where they need to go and stuff like that. So even though you have to make these decisions as a leader, you're not a dictator. Yeah, you still can explain stuff, right? And have these, and sometimes men, and more specifically black men, will conflate those two. Like, I have to be aggressive, I have to be stern, and it's my way or the highway. That's not leadership. Yes, that's so I think just a fundamental lack of understanding of yourself and what leadership actually is what contributes to that. And then also, again, everybody wants black men to be aggressive. There's a lot of women who don't accept me speaking to you in a comfortable manner. I mean, in a calm manner, in a way. I'm not yelling. I'm not gonna call you out your name. I don't do none of that, and I don't want a badge for that. It's just that's not I grew up in it, so I'm not
Yeah.
doing it.
Right.
But there's some people who are not receptive to it at all. There's some women who are not receptive to it at all. And because they're not receptive to it, some men feel like they kind of have to be this aggressor that you don't.
They're really not.
No, you really don't got to be like this.
Yeah.
This is just not the person that you should be having this conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
So I found some stats online that we wanted to go through, just to make everyone aware, just so you know where things are. Black adults have highest rates of mental health related to ER visits in America, according to the CDC. Mental health treatment between the years of 2021 and 2023, 15% of Black adults received mental health treatments, compared to 26 to 30% of whites and 30% of multiracial individuals. About 4 to 5% of U.S. psychologists, 2% psychiatrists are Black. I think that's important because we really don't have it. It brings me back to what you said about finding, like, people who look like you. There's not that much out there. 56 to 74% of Black men exposed to trauma have unmet mental health service needs. And from 2019 to 2021, more Black people have gotten mental health treatment, according to the CDC. So that's good. Yeah. But I wanted to touch on the part about 4 to 5% are psychologists and 2% are psychiatrists, because that was the thing for me, because I wanted a Black woman. I have a different perspective now, but at the time I was like, no, she has to be able to understand my perspective. I don't want you to brush off certain things that I'm saying when it could be a real issue. But now that you've explained the whole flea situation, I'm like, it could be where we have similar thought processes and we're like, yeah, that's not a big deal. So what? Yeah, so what, we think this way, it's not a big deal. But hearing what you said made me also realize that the person doesn't necessarily have to look like you. Sometimes it's good to get a different perspective and not someone who's having the same type of situation as you. So
I will always advocate for Black people seeing other Black therapists, and I will always say that, and that's the thing. And I would always want people to go to the Black therapist, because again, there's a lot of stuff you don't have to explain.
Yeah,
I'm just acknowledging that there are benefits for getting people, because even if you get another Black therapist, they could fundamentally not understand you too. So
True.
you
just have to find the right person.
Exactly. Growing up in New York, I'm considered a Yankee because I am, the Americanized Jamaican. But when I went to California, I might as well be Bob Marley. because of the lack of Black diaspora out there. But there are cultural differences. There are things that they're going to, that Black Americans will say that I'm like, huh? And then they'll say something to me, I'm like, huh? Like, perfect example, when I was living with that crazy girl. Laughing at my trauma. No, perfect example. I was living with that crazy girl. Her stomach was bothering her. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I boiled up some tea. I brought the tea to her. She was like, she wanted 7-Up. I was like, no, that's not how that worked. But she thought, from her, my ginger ales, tea, Caribbean people, Africans, tea. So even if you do find a therapist, there are cultural differences.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I will say, I will always say Black, and I'll say that, but the most important thing is that they're well trained.
Yes.
So because the major thing that I learned in grad school is the way racism works is that white people are seen as the standard of what it is to be human. That's it. So whenever they say studies like, well, women do this, they're talking about white women. When they say, well, men do this, they're talking about men. So like the standard of human is white. Yeah. So when you're learning to do medicine, biology, or you're learning psychology or something like that, you're thinking, the standard that you're thinking from is the white perspective. And not a lot of people are trained to think about things outside of whiteness. Latinos have a different experience. Asians have a different experience, and that's not factored in. Right. So if you are looking for someone who is a therapist, I would definitely look for, race is a factor and that's the thing, but are they well educated? How many years have they been doing this? What type of therapy have they been doing? Are they exposed to different things? Because you could have someone who's Black who's not well trained. Yeah. And you could have someone who's white who is very well trained who can give you a different perspective. Yeah. So it's do your research. Okay. That's the main thing. Do your research and learn that.
Love it, love it, love it. Before we go, let everybody know where they can find you.
Oh, hey y'all.
Social media platforms.
My name is Ketayma, Ketayma, and just type that in and You know, my Instagram will pop up and all that. That's it.
Awesome. Awesome. We thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you,
This
bro.
was awesome.
No
You are
problem.
awesome. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Black love.
And we're out. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. While we were laughing throughout almost the entire time, we wanted to make sure that you guys take mental health seriously. I think it's something that is often ignored in our community. And I know it seems like it's a trend these days, but we wanted to have a conversation that would highlight the fact that mental health issues is real. Okay. Growing up in the Christian faith, it was something that I think we often ignored, making it seem as if it's something that you can pray away. And not to say that you can't, you know, but I think it's important to look at all different factors. While in my opinion, everything is definitely connected to the spirituality of it. But at the same time, we live in a physical world. So while we're here in the physical, I think it's also important to not only get the spiritual help, but get the physical help as well. So if you feel like you related to what Ketayma was saying on this episode, or you feel like there are other issues that you may be dealing with that you haven't shared, we wanted to make sure that you know it's important to get the help that you need. Do not suffer in silence. Do not suffer alone, but go out, seek out the help that you need. It's important to get that help along with the prayer, not just the prayer. All right. So hope you guys enjoyed and hope you guys take your mental health seriously as we plan to do so ourselves. See y'all on the next one.
Later.
Thank you for spending your time with us. We hope you gained some knowledge today that'll promote poise in your life. We have new episodes uploaded every Thursday right here, same place, same time. Until next time, you can follow us on Instagram at NOIRPOISED Podcast to stay connected. That's NOIRPOISED Podcast. We'd love to hear your feedback.
And remember, your wisdom is power.